want a revolution, the only solution, evolve. If you want a revolution.
It's not as if she were a maniac.
Welcome back, horror fanatics, to yet another Blu-ray review for Horror Month 2013.
A maniac.
Yes, another Blu-ray review, another Blu-ray from Scream Factory.
That's pretty much all we've been doing all month.
Fantastic, great Scream Factory Blu-rays that have come out in the last month or so.
And our last review we just did was of Psycho 2. And now we bring you Psycho 3.
Psycho 3.
3 shall be the number thou shalt count, and the number of the counting shall be 3.
As in the third movie of the Psycho movies.
Look, don't worry. Aside from total boredom, nothing's going to happen to you here.
Where Mother is off her rocker once again.
Pretty terrible tagline.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
First of all, we have the cover, which is the original poster for Psycho 3.
There it is.
And I don't like it as much as the poster of Psycho 2. I mean, it's all right, but I really like the Psycho 2 poster. He's standing there looking up at the window. That's really a creepy poster.
No, I like the Psycho 2 poster more, but this one is, I don't know. It's kind of interesting, cause it's kind of funny, too, because he's, showing the key to room number 1.
You gave her cabin 1.
Makes it kind of cozy.
And on the inside, you have sort of pictures from the movie.
Once again, the studio wouldn't allow them to do their own original art like they've done with like The Fog and Phantasm and Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 and all those.
So let's start with the good stuff first. The menu. Another really cool menu from Scream Factory.
Excellent. Actually, I kind of like this one even more than the one for Psycho 2.
It's just awesome. He's standing up there, and he actually talks. He says something like, be right down. You're like, wait. So it's a really cool menu.
And that little touch right there, that's why I liked it a little bit more.
And really, really nice looking. I like the way the titles are, and just a really cool looking menu.
Yeah, I like how they have the Bates Motel sign there, and then underneath it is the actual, play the film and the bonus features and whatnot. Everything that's on the disc itself.
Picture quality is once again excellent. Scream Factory did an amazing job with the transfer here. It's never looked better. I think it's amazing.
The audio as well is really great. I love the audio in it.
I hadn't seen Psycho 3 in forever, Vince. I couldn't even remember what the story was about. I mean, I couldn't even tell you what happened in the movie because that's how long it's ago since I've seen it ago. I mean, that doesn't make no sense whatsoever.
That's how long ago since you've seen it ago?
So watching it was kind of like watching a whole new movie for me because I didn't remember any of it, just like none of it. And I got to tell you, it was not as good as Psycho 2. A few reasons why. Actually, my wife pointed them out for me. There was something about it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but after she explained it to me and said something, I was like, oh, okay, I can see that. It's because Norman is a sympathetic character. You're supposed to feel for him. He's like one of the very few serial killers that you're supposed to, feel some emotion for, feel sorry for him. But in this one, you really didn't feel that because you knew it was him killing people. I mean, there was no mystery to this. It was Norman dressed up as mother killing somebody. So you didn't really feel sorry for him at all in this movie.
Originally, when I first saw this film back in the theaters, I actually didn't quite like it as much as Psycho 2. It seemed like in this one they were turning him into Freddy or Jason or Michael Myers or something because now, like you said, he was doing the killing.
And the fun part about the Psycho movies was the mysteries of the big twist at the end, and who's doing what, and this had none of that in there.
They do, but it's not like the other ones. It's because there was that Mrs. Spool thing. That I think that's really what set this off.
So by speaking about that, let's get into the commentary. So this is a commentary with the screenwriter Edward Progue. Is that his name?
With the screenwriter Charles Edward Poe.
He could really shake up your thinking and make you see things in a different way. Sometimes he'd get very outre, and you'd have to sort of pull him back. But I get these phone calls at night, and he'd say, "What if we did such and so?" And I'm going, "I don't know, Tony."
This guy, I didn't like. I didn't like this guy at all. I actually thought this commentary was worse than the commentary on Psycho 2, which is pretty bad. This guy really sounded like he was full of himself. He was just kind of like, that's right, I am a writer, and what I say goes because I am a writer, therefore I am superior to anyone else on the planet.
Yeah, I kind of got that from him too. And the one thing I will give him is that he did speak about things that happened on the set, at least, or at least talked about the film and stayed with the movie. Unlike with Psycho 2, where the guy was asking him questions and he'd talk about Fright Night.
Well, this guy talked a lot about The Fly, that he wrote The Fly, and how he met David Cronenberg and this and that. So this guy was all about The Fly. The other guy was all about Fright Night. And one thing that I really got angry about listening to this guy was he basically was putting down Psycho 2, saying about how Psycho 2 wasn't any good, about how the whole thing with Mother was terrible, but how he changed up the whole story of the original Psycho movie. And all that stuff was what made Psycho 2 good. Unlike this movie, that had a great story, and this one, this writer thinks he's so great, didn't have a great story for Psycho 3.
He was talking about the Mrs. Spool part. He was trying to get rid of that Mrs. Spool thing of Mrs. Spool being his aunt or his supposed real mother.
Yeah, I know. And that was stupid. I mean, I liked that in Psycho 2. That's what I liked about Psycho 2 was that twist at the end. And now this guy's just trying to undo it and say that never happened.
Well, that's exactly the way it turned out, too.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that at all.
I like the twist at the end with Psycho 2, but I don't know. Just the way this one plays out, that's where I was like not very thrilled about it. He made Norman more of a as he even says it, in a dead teenager film, where they had to make it more of the whole slasher thing, the whole slasher genre. Because the original Psycho is the grandfather of the slasher films. I mean, it's the one that started that whole genre for horror films.
Yeah, but Psycho should have never really been a slasher film, and I think that's where they dropped this one at. Yeah, it should never have been that way.
Okay, well, the first interview that they have on the disc, which is not listed on the back of this, is an interview with Jeff Fahey.
He went from Anthony Perkins into character, into Norman, like that. And I remember that. I was like, damn, this is too much. The stuttering that he did in the pauses, and it just freaked me out. Now I remember that part of it very well.
Yeah, and these were actually pretty entertaining interviews. Unlike Psycho 2, which had nothing, these actually took some of the actors in the film and interviewed them like Scream Factory does. And they were really good interviews. They're not really long interviews. Each one's maybe about 7 or 8 minutes long. But they were actually pretty entertaining.
I actually enjoyed this one. I wish they had done... I'm sitting there the whole time watching this interview with Jeff Fahey and thinking, why didn't they do this with Psycho 2?
Yeah, I mean, this is more of a Scream Factory disc. Actual extras on this disc.
This is what you expect from Scream Factory, or what Dave and I expect now from Scream Factory.
And it wasn't a bad interview. I mean, it was fun to see him now, the way he looks like now, and talking about the film and everything that, went through. And he had some good behind-the-scenes stuff that he's talking about. when Norman hit him in the head with a guitar and all that stuff. And it was a fun interview. I know, I liked it.
That's interesting. It's always interesting to me to see what these guys look like after 20 some odd years of being in these films.
So on our next extra, we have what?
It's an interview with Kat Shea.
She took me down to the set to meet Tony, and he had me read with a bush. Not even a person. He said, he had the dialogue and he went, just talk to the bush. Say it to the bush. And I was like, really? Seriously? He's really going to make me do that?
And this was a bizarre interview because she's not in the movie that much. She's only in it for about, what, 15 seconds, 20 seconds?
Basically, she's like the first one he kills, isn't it?
Yeah, he cut her throat and he threw her an ice chest. And that's pretty much all she's in the movie. So I don't know why they interviewed her. But it was, again, an interesting interview, and she kept talking about Anthony Perkins and how he treated her on set. But yeah, I mean, it was like the first one. It was just as entertaining.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining too, listening to her, and I didn't realize that she's actually a director, and she's directed a couple other films, and one of them, the host she mentioned, was Carrie 2, and I'm also thinking, okay, well, that wasn't that great of a movie.
No, I don't think I would have mentioned that. I don't think I would have thrown it out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a weird interview, but it wasn't bad. So next up, we have another interview with a body double.
And it's an interview with Brinky Stevens, who's been in tons of horror films.
All right, this is the part where I got to ask you to take your dress off. No problem, that's why I'm here. So I was hired to be Diana Scarwood's body double.
This was after they actually filmed the movie.
They basically had to show some TNA. And like all the other interviews, this one was also entertaining. Nothing wrong with it. It was pretty good.
I actually found this one a little more bizarre, though. Not bad, just a little bizarre.
And the last thing we have here is the makeup effects artist, Michael Westmore, which was really cool to see him on here.
Somebody gave me a call that they were going to do Psycho 3, somebody from Universal, and Anthony Perkins was going to direct it, and they asked if I was available to come in and do the special effects makeup for it.
Yeah, this one was entertaining too. I liked watching this, and he went through each of the makeup effects that he did for the film.
And if you don't know who Michael Westmore is, he's on Face Off a lot. He comes on there. His daughter hosts Face Off, so that's where I know him from, because I'm a big fan of Face Off. I watch it every week.
Wow, I've watched Face Off before, and that didn't dawn on me until you just said it.
It was kind of fun to see him on here and seeing some of what he used to do in his earlier work. And the last extra on here is what, Vince?
They have the theatrical trailers, which is pretty much the theatrical trailers. They're very dark.
Norman Bates is back to normal. But Mother's off her rocker. Again.
Norman, is that you?
Yes, Mother. It's me.
The video, it's really bad, and the video, I mean, it's a theatrical trailer, but you can barely see it. I mean, it's so dark. Well, the very last thing on here is the still galleries, which is still photographs from the movie, and they show behind-the-scenes photos and the movie posters and whatnot.
In all, I would have to give Psycho 3 out of 5.
And I would have to give Psycho 3 a big 3 out of 5.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Psycho 3, except the movie wasn't that very good. Other than that, yeah, it wasn't bad.
This one, I'd say, ranks right up there around Swamp Thing.
And I wish they would have taken the time they did in this for Psycho 2. And it would have made Psycho 2 so much better. Just give us a little bit of something. And like Psycho 3 gave us that little bit of something.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Why can't you just leave the poor slob alone?
And it's been a really long, grueling month. And we come down to Psycho 2, Psycho 3. And I really wanted to kind of end this on a big film, and unfortunately these two are not in.
I just won't for staying around too long.
No one ever does.